This video starts with one idea. My process stays pretty simple. I move from idea to layout to paper and then into actual making. Coming up with ideas stumps me every time. Nothing is good enough. Every idea is dumb and second guessed. It's hard for me to come up with art concepts, so while thinking about my next small series, I realized I could come up with a different perspective within the same scene, generating new ideas. I thought about a scenario in which a cat watches a bird while sitting in a windowsill, and then almost like walking around that scene, you look at things closely from far away that you can make pieces of art about. While I initially came up with these three pieces, the cat looking out the window at the birds in the tree, and then a view of the house of the cat sitting in the window, I wasn't happy with the last idea. So my brain took a walk around the scene and in the house. There could be breakfast on the table. I did a small painting for my Find Free Art series a few years ago that I really enjoyed and wanted to develop further. So I went back and pulled out that piece of art and made a new layout of it for this series. Still, one idea, three pieces. For this project, I'm using BFK Rives paper in cream. It holds the acrylic really well. It's a printmaking paper. I do strict layouts of my art on the computer because there's nothing spontaneous about me. So here I am transferring one of those printouts to the paper just for an indication of where I want to place my papers. For my more complicated pieces of artwork, I make monoprints on rice paper and use them as collage papers, but I have a lot of outtakes that I don't use or colors that just didn't come out right the first time, and I save all the scraps and I use them for projects like this. It keeps the cost down, and I just keep them in folders that are sort of color-coded so it's easier to find. And I cut these up and use them as part of my simplified collages. I have an idea of my general color palette before I start, but I like to go in and pick all my papers before I put anything down. That way I know I'm not using too many different colors, that they're all cohesive. I'm also looking for certain patterns and nuances in the papers. Then I cut them to the general shapes that I want in the background, and I put them down with matte medium, which is just a clear acrylic. A little tip is that it might feel time-consuming, but it's definitely important to put the matte medium on the collage paper as well as your surface. It prevents air bubbles. Once I have my collage papers down, I will also sometimes use a solid construction paper just for a bright, bold pop of color. Before I get to the point where I'm going to start blocking in shapes with paint, I like to retrace my lines over the collage papers just as a guide. Part of my style is blocking in a lot of silhouetted black shapes. Painting over the collage papers also gives a nice layered effect, and you can see through the paint. I tend to do the majority of the big blocked in shapes first. This breakfast one is a slightly different approach than usual. I'm not using as much black on this. Again, layering the paint over the papers gives a nice texture. I wanted to use cut paper for the center of the flowers and the egg yolk because I thought it gave it that little graphic element that was missing that exists in the other two pieces. In the end, I get a slightly bit spontaneous with color pencil. I think it gives it a less rigid feel. And those are white acrylic pens. Ready to sign them and frame them. And now I have 3 new pieces of artwork to sell on my website. I call them Simplified Collages because they are smaller. I use my scraps. It keeps the cost down, and I try to spend under 6 hours each from layout to final completion. And it's satisfying to complete something within a few days versus a more complicated piece that may take a month. They're also a good size to scan in, so I can make postcards out of them, which I haven't done yet, but I will do. And they're cute.